And welcome back to the Bama Boys podcast. I am one of your hosts, Drod, aka the happiest man alive right now. And I would like to introduce my co host for this episode 6, aka the Mustard, aka the
What up,
Must,
what up, what up, what up, what up?
aka the second most happiest person on the earth. Maybe not, but we'll say that anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Throw me under the bus this early, huh?
Well, we've been away for a while, and
It's been a hot minute.
Mus told me, he said, you're gonna have to come up with something to tell him. So I'll just tell you what's happened. While we hadn't been on here, I told everybody at the end of the last episode, I said, if Trump wins, we'll be back. And if he loses, we'll see you in 2028, in November. And some people listening probably thought, well, I guess they're not coming back till November. Did Trump really win? Yeah, he won. It's just life has been busy. I've been enjoying every minute of it. I've been sitting back enjoying life, having a great time. And we just hadn't had time. We've set a couple of dates to do it, and they didn't work out. But we're here today, and it worked out. So that's all that matters. What have you been doing while we've been gone?
Well, I guess now that we're living in a new America, I've been just, I guess, paying attention, seeing what's been going on, living life, working two jobs, and I can think we let time slip away there, D-Rod, there for a minute.
Well, yeah, time does slip away. And I just want to ask you a question.
Oh
And
man.
a lot of people have asked me this. A lot of people's been putting it on X. And I'm sure they've been sending in their emails and their mail to the Bama Boys podcast uh, email drive and our mailbox and everything. Um, so we're going to ask you this question, Mush, right off the bat. Are you having buyer's remorse so far on you?
Absolutely not. That's a dumb question.
Oh man, Stephen King just tweeted it out the other day. Hey, MAGA, you having any buyer's remorse so far?
All the remorse I've been seeing's been coming from the other side most of the time.
Well, they're
They're
hollering.
throwing
They're hollering, man. Screaming.
they're throwing Biden under the bus, Harris under the bus. I mean, it's crazy to see the state of what happens, when one side doesn't get their way. Uh, but I've seen a lot, especially on X, of a lot of hate about this. He's your president. Get over it. That's all I can say. I mean, we've got him for 4 years, and buckle up.
Well, I'll say this. A lot of people also have been tweeting, is this what you voted for? And I'll just say this. This is exactly what I voted for. Everybody's hollering, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that, Elon Musk and this and that. Elon Musk is the president. Well, I got news for you. They cutting waste, they cutting fraud, and I say go Elon, go. Cut it, cut it, cut it. Keep going.
I'm with you. I don't. This is that has Doge has nothing ever has ever been happened the way they're doing this, man. Quite literally, no other country in the world. They just spin, 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 and nobody questions it.
Yep.
And to me, that is bad.
Well,
And now we're crying about, oh, well, now they're doing it. We're crying because they're doing it. What? What?
uh,
That don't
yeah,
make any sense.
yeah. A lot of people said Trump never said anything about this. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy was on the campaign trail. Trump talked about this. This was a part of the plan. He's got a mandate to do it. I don't care what the View says. I don't care what anybody else says. This is a mandate to the American people. And he's doing what we voted him for. He's doing what I voted him for. And to be clear, and I saw this on X after the election, and I saved it. I shared it. To be clear, I didn't vote for cheaper omelets. I voted to watch the corrupt, entrenched bureaucracy bleed like a stuck pig. That's exactly what's happening. And you know
They're
what?
bleeding too.
Sooner or later, we'll get to those cheaper omelets and those cheaper eggs. By the way, egg prices are down, even though the past week they've been hollering, egg prices, egg prices, egg prices. They're down. They're coming down. Yeah, they don't want to hear that either.
I feel like it's dang if you do, dang if you don't at this point. You know, there'll never be no common ground to be touched on any of these subjects.
Oh,
Um,
no, you're totally right. There's two world views in a steel cage match right now, and there's only one walking out. So, we'll see what happens.
it's just crazy to think about how divided people can be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you. Well, the way we think, and we don't agree with everything. Um, you know that. We have differences with people on our side. We definitely have 99% of differences on the other side. But right now in America, Steve D said this, and I'll quote him, give him credit for that. He's the one who said they are two worldviews right now stepping inside a steel cage match. And there's only one that can leave and become the winner. And thankfully right now we got a president who cares for America and not letting all of our dollars slip out through a vacuum cleaner to everywhere else. He's not using auto pen, he's using an actual pen. So there you go.
I knew he's gonna bring up about that.
So this is exactly what I voted for, and you can mark it down, viewers. But Musk may be having buyer's remorse. I don't know. He may be.
No, I mean, I don't. I'm to the point now where there's no. You can't make everybody happy.
No. You can't make everybody
No
happy.
matter how hard you try. There will always be a counter to every argument, every sentence, every paragraph, and there's just no solving it. And I'm to the point now where at this point it's over.
It's over.
He's won. And EOS. I mean, end of story. I mean,
I don't know if I
there's just
told you about this, but I put on. This happened a couple of weeks ago when old short man, old big chief Zelensky came to the White House. I replied to something on X or something. And I said, "Man, that guy right there is a con artist who wants some money and wants to be in power." And of course, somebody replied to me, "If you think that, you're a piece of you know what." And they didn't say you know what. They actually said it. I said,
yeah.
"You know what? This is where we're at in America right now. If you have a different opinion than somebody else, especially if it's a liberal, they ain't gonna tell you, well, let's talk about it. Let's break down to the brass tacks. No, let's cuss you out and holler at you and act like a kid."
Grown ups need to start acting like grown ups. And I don't know why it is that way.
Well, their side is ran by leaders who couldn't even stand up and clap for a boy who was fighting brain cancer. They couldn't do it. So that's the people they look up to. So there you go.
Yeah, if you don't believe evil exists, there it is. That's a perfect example of it.
Well, I'm not calling them all evil. Thankfully, one did stand up and clap, but that was just one. That's just wrong. I know it's TDS. They want to, and now EDS, because they get more mad at Elon these days than they do Trump. It sounds like. But if you can't stand up and clap and at least stand up for a boy who's had brain cancer and is being recognized, I don't know if you have a heart some days. I understand, wanting to stand up, stick it to the man. Trump's the bad guy. We gotta show we're united against him. But that should stop at the door when it comes to something like that. And Republicans stand and clap for Biden's people he brought to the State of the Union. Of course, this wasn't a State of the Union, but it felt like one. And Republicans stand and cheered for those people, and Democrats, when you got a person that was entrapped in Russia, it was brought back home to America, him and his mother there, and you can't stand up for that either. I don't know. I pray for this country. I pray for the people to awaken. I pray for their eyes to be opened. Because we're in a sad, sad spot right now.
Yeah, it's like I said. I told somebody today. I said, just open your eyes.
Yeah.
Just, just please. If you don't believe anything that me or D-Rod are saying, open your eyes to who's spewing the hate.
Yeah.
I mean,
They say we spew hate. I don't spew hate. I spew facts. And if you want to disagree with me on it, fine. But I'm not going to holler at you, and I'm not going to cuss you out. You've known me for how many years, Leroy?
been over a decade.
Over a decade. You think I'm going to cuss somebody out if they disagree with me?
I don't think I've ever heard you cuss once.
Exactly. I'm not that type of person. And, I just don't understand how people can't open their eyes to say, you know what? Maybe I do need to do some readjustments.
I mean, it's like people are going to keep fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. One side wins, the other side's going to fight. The other side wins, the other side's going to fight. And they're going to disagree and disagree and disagree. But it's like what I tell people, I want to see, of course, I didn't live during it. By no means. But I want to see this country come back to crapping normalcy.
Yeah, normal. Being normal. That's a good statement. What is normal now? Well, everybody's got a different definition of it, I guess. But I don't know. Trump, he really ran a unified campaign. If you want to get down to the brass tacks, as you say, bringing in Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. and Elon Musk, all former Democrats. And you got somebody like Vivek Ramaswamy also helping Trump on the campaign trail, a libertarian. I just think that he ran a unity campaign, and I think a lot of people came over because they saw that, okay, these people that I'm siding with are a little bit, uh, how would
Off
you,
the rocker.
off the, well, not off the rocker, but just have a certain way of looking things that just ain't right sometimes. And I don't know. I just don't see how you can't look at the way Trump ran his campaign and say, okay, that was just for MAGA only, hardcore conservatives that he's had on his side ever since 2015. He's totally different. This is a totally different campaign than 2016.
Yeah. I see a big difference and a stark contrast between him in 2016 and him, now, because I think he's more with the times, with the programs nowadays, and I think he's learned a lot personally.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, he almost got shot
Yeah,
in the
and a
head,
lot of people forget about that.
so that kind of probably brings somebody down to their, well, either their belief system or their morals, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, that's another thing. People's morals are out of whack.
Good old morals.
Hey, they come from chemicals, man.
Intelligence, man. Come on.
Yeah.
There's
Hey,
there.
they come from chemicals, man. I
Nope.
want to start throwing a bunch of bleach in a bucket and Windex
Yeah,
and mix together. Maybe I'll create some life, man.
you can.
Yeah,
Happens
well,
all the time.
happens all the time.
Something comes from nothing. Happens
You
every
know,
day.
it's off topic.
Well, we're always off topic, so go ahead.
It's crazy to me. It's like I've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it with people. I come to the conclusion it would have took more evidence to be a non-believer.
Mm-hmm.
Because at this point, the goalpost, it's like I told somebody, keeps getting moved back.
Yeah.
Well, you tell somebody, okay, well, morals comes from the chemical reaction of neurons firing in your brain. Well, when I think about that, you know what the first thing that come to my mind?
Mm.
Who put the neurons there?
Yeah. Uh,
There and people believe fish is our ancestors. I mean, it's like I tell anybody. I saw the evidence for what it was, and I came to the belief that I have hold today. People can sit there and say there's different multiverses, there's different universes, their evolution was real. Um, but I can narrow evolution down to one point. Well, the first point being a dog can breed 50 million times, but it'll never turn into a bird. That's just the premise of it. You'll have
mm.
different dogs, but you will never have a different species, and that's just a fact. Um, and that's like I was telling my uncle. There is nowhere in our DNA of us transitioning from anything. Say there's no fish DNA, there's no monkey DNA, there's no nothing. We are unique.
Well, I don't know. I don't really dive in. I know the basic concepts. You dive in more of the evolution
Yeah.
stuff. I know the basic concepts and everything. But my whole point is on the science and evolution side of things. I would like one of them to explain to me why don't monkeys evolve now still? What's the hold up there? Is there something? I mean, I'm sure somebody has an explanation for it. I would like to hear it. But why? I mean, why is things not evolving? I mean, what's the argument there?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe they can explain it to me. But um, I'm not trying to say that they don't have an argument. I'm sure they do. But I just can't put my head around that. Because, it's just something that, it's something that I'll never probably just say, okay, well, that just makes sense. Yeah, monkeys, whatever. It's just something that somebody came up with. And it'll never have no value at all to me. But to each their own.
It's like I tell people all the time, I think people want to come up with an excuse not to answer for their actions.
Mm-hmm.
And, atheism didn't become popular till early 2000. I mean, of course, there was people preaching about it forever. But most of all your most famous scientists, Isaac Newton, Galileo, all of them, uh, fathers of modern mathematics, were all followers of Christ to the T.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and people try to use science, it's like to justify what they can understand in the known.
Yeah.
But yet, there's no creation mechanism anywhere. Well, the Big Bang, two atoms rubbed together. Okay, well, who created the atoms? Well, the space dust. Who created the space dust? It goes on and on and on. It is a loop, and I encourage people. There's a new theory out there that there's different multiverses out there. I mean, are we living in the Marvel MCU? I mean, none of this can be tested. I understand that. But there's one thing, it's all been written down. You can't be an atheist and not have read the Bible. You are a dumb atheist. You've got to read the Bible.
Hell, I'm not gonna say
Education.
that.
Well, I'm going off topic there, but I mean it's true. I mean to be even Richard Dawkins said it, the most famous atheist in the world.
Well,
You got to read the Bible,
well,
then make your
let me
assumptions.
say this, and I knew you'd probably bring up this topic, so I was like, well, that's Mush's realm there. You're the big debater on atheism and evolution and all that, and I'm just here. But I said I've got to add something to that of what he's going to say about atheism and evolution and all that. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know what? The best thing that Drod could ever do to add something to that caliber would to go to one of his inspirations on faith and Christianity and an amazing writer who was an atheist. So, it's going to take me a minute because it's a pretty long quote. But I want to read you a quote from C.S. Lewis. And I'll tell you more about that after I read it. But I said, you know what? If he's going to talk about that, I got to find a quote that makes sense. I also got to find a quote that makes sense in the author's perspective. Because C.S. Lewis was once an atheist. So that makes sense in my mind because I could have pulled up any quote in the world on atheism or intellect or anything from any preacher, but it wouldn't carry the same weight because C.S. Lewis was an atheist. If there is such a thing as an atheist, we may talk about that one day. But here's the quote. Supposing there was no intelligence behind the universe, no creative mind, in that case, nobody designed my brain for the purpose of thinking. It is merely that when the atoms inside my skull happen for physical or chemical reasons to arrange themselves in a certain way, this gives me as a byproduct the sensation I call thought. But if so, how can I trust my own thinking to be true? It's like upsetting a milk jug and hoping that the way it splashes itself will give you a map of London. But if I can't trust my own thinking, of course, I can't trust the arguments leading to atheism, and therefore have no reason to be an atheist or anything else. Unless I believe in God, I cannot believe in thought, so I can never use thought to disbelieve in God. So, what is C.S. Lewis saying there? Without God, even reasoning itself collapses. Atheism is going to have to borrow from the Christian worldview just to make logical arguments and to make sense. Truth, and one thing we've always talked about Must in previous podcasts, morality and logic all point back to a creator. And in that quote, Lewis kind of makes it clear you cannot use reason to argue against the existence of the one who makes it possible, who makes reason possible.
My thing is when somebody makes a claim and I'll take that back. Somebody makes a claim and he comes out and says, okay, well, I believe that the Big Bang created it all. There's no God. There's nothing. We all die in the end. And it's an endless void. That's a sad life to live.
Well, yeah, it's a very sad life to live. That's why most of your devout Christians and all these big time guys like Lee Strobel and C.S. Lewis, they all had to find out for themselves that they were wrong in the way they started out thinking. And they come to the realization that there's more to life than what they think. And the life they were living, I'm sure they were, it's just, I don't understand how people can go through life without God. I don't. I don't understand it. I probably never will. And some people will say, "Well, you're just a dumb Alabama boy raised in just a small podunk town in Alabama. You'll never understand anything." Listen, I got a 4-year college degree. I'm a little bit of higher level thinking you think I am. Okay? And you'll never get me to understand how somebody can go through life without God on their side.
I mean, here's what I'll say. I've heard people say, well, we just don't know. And then I've heard people say, well, I think I know, but I don't think it's God. Or maybe it's him. Maybe he's up there. I don't know. I really don't care. I've heard that so many times. And I believe it's a very important thing to touch on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I told somebody today. I said, you live your life, or I take that back. If I follow Christ the rest of my life, I have not lost anything. If you
Oh, so you're going off
decide,
that quote. Okay, I
oh
know where
yeah,
you're going.
if you live your life not believing, you will have eternity. And people say, well, I don't know how a benevolent God, a loving God, could do something like that. A loving God does not force himself upon you. I believe that's a court case in our laws. Um, it's like I've heard the analogy of the stalker, um, and the young ladies, where God is not going to be the stalker and keep pursuing you, pursuing you, pursuing you, pursuing you, pursuing you. He's going to want you to come to him first. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much he loves you, you've got to make the ultimate choice to love him back. He's not going to keep eyeballing you, keep touching you on your shoulder. Hey man, hey man, hey man, come follow me, come follow me. That's not a loving God. That's a controlling God. And
Well, I'll say this. I think um, that the Lord will open the eyes of everyone at least once. And that's love, in my opinion, because He's giving you a chance. The Lord is always giving chances. Um, and He's always going to. Uh, he's always going to. How would I say this? Want you to be a part of the kingdom of God. Um, because that's why He sent His Son to die for you. And people say, well, He could have done it any kind of way. Yeah, He could have. But you have to have something to say, okay, that is love. What Jesus done on the cross, that's what love is. Lay down His life. That's love. John 3:16. That's love. But I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you're completely fine. I mean, when you truly love somebody, the ultimate goal in my eyes to truly love somebody, and you can sit here and say it's just a bunch of neurons and whatever you want to say. Um, I have dwelled down the rabbit hole of how DNA is put together, how we even have emotions in general.
Yeah.
We are the only people, only species on this planet that can feel the way we feel, that can think the way we think. There's no other species on this world in the entire planet that can do what we do. Well, they say, well, dolphins are smarter than us, but dolphins can't compute
Mm.
and can't understand information.
Yeah.
There's people who go to colleges. There's people who build airplanes for a living. They design skyscrapers, and yet we're too busy to what is it? What is the scripture? The the glory of heavens, and oh, man, I'll have to pull that up. But where he was looking in the stars,
Mm.
and he quite literally says, "Hey, the heavens declare your glory."
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, quite literally, just think of how ecosystems are our own ecosystems. If you want to just just think about this for a second. All the plants around us breathe in what no other than that we can't.
Yeah.
Animals, they provide oxygen for animals, they provide food for animals, they provide food for us, but yet I think trees are really fascinating and plants in general because they are the only thing in the world that can breathe in and put out what we breathe in.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I walked out and I walked out on a cliff and I saw a big, ravine, water, river, trees everywhere, birds chirping, and I'll say, well, that's just a product of millions and millions of years. Well, ah, to me, and this is just my honest opinion, if you look at that and don't say, man, that's just amazing. How could something like that come to be? Off topic. Uh, I have a question to anybody listening, and I'm sure I'll get an answer probably tomorrow. Uh,
Yeah, hey, before you ask that question, you're talking about Psalms 19:1.
I knew it was somewhere. I figured it was Psalms.
The heavens
Declare the glory of
proclaim the
God.
glory of God. The skies display His craftsmanship.
Yeah. I believe we were designed. Uh, you know, it's not like we walk in a forest, D-Rod, and there's a laptop laying in the forest. Well, the forest must have created this. I mean, that's literally what we're talking about here. We are talking about literally brains. Our brain, our program, our DNA is programmed. It is a unique sequence of chemicals that come together in a sequence. It's like Mark Lowry said, I put my gold watch in a bag and I shake it for 3.8 billion years or
Well,
6 billion years.
take
And well,
apart, take it apart,
yeah,
take
you take
apart
it
your
apart,
watch,
take it apart,
and shake
put
it
it
for
in a
millions
bag.
of years.
Yeah, shake it for billions of years. What is the likelihood of it coming out of that bag fully intact and ticking?
It never comes together.
It doesn't happen. It just doesn't.
So, what does that mean?
Well, yeah,
There must be a creator.
there must something. There's something. Whereas
Oh,
me
there's
and
a
you,
creator.
oh, the
Hey,
other,
that's Eos. That's a what do they call it in the Southern Baptist? That's the way, the truth, of life. But hey, that's the truth.
it's just insane to me.
What's your question you was gonna ask?
Oh, to any of my atheist, I guess you could say pals listening, which I consider a lot of them friends, man. I will never ostracize somebody for what they believe in.
Well, no, yeah, shouldn't.
Um, just like they shouldn't do the same to me.
Yeah,
But I've been in their shoes before.
yeah. So
I've been
you
there,
know what they're going through. So
and I feel as though at times it can be a very dark to have nothing to to hold on to, I guess is what I'm getting at.
yeah,
And like me moving, for instance, it's been hard, man. I believe God's got me through it,
yeah,
because I've had some dark moments these past few months where I'm like, Lord, what do you have me do? It's just like it's funny. It's funny too. Like people say, well, what's your experiences with God? Or why even try?
mm,
And my thought process always goes to because the alternative in my eyes is just pure darkness.
yeah,
And people can thrive. Don't get me wrong. People can thrive, become billionaires, but at the end of the day, All the money in the world will not buy you happiness. A great quote people talk about a lot. And I believe that you find true happiness in the creator's arms, and that's just my take on that.
Yeah. And
Um,
another thing I want to address before you. What did you ask your question yet? I'm still.
oh, why do we find there was a complete I just want to put this out there. And maybe I've told this question before. Who knows? At this point, who cares? Um, so did you know, D-Rod, probably about I forgot what, probably a few years back, I'd say, that they found a fully intact whale skeleton on top of a mountain?
Well,
On top of a mountain.
I hadn't heard that, but
Look it up. I
I'll
encourage
look
you.
it
I think
up.
it was in California.
Yeah.
They find the fossilized remains of a whale on top of a mountain. And the whale is millions of years old. Crazy how he didn't grow legs.
uh,
But anywho, I'll leave it at that.
now, what I was gonna say is, I'm sure some people probably thought the same thing, and I know one comment was made to you about an episode we done early on. I think it was episode 2 or 3, maybe, um, where I went on a rant about stuffed shirt Christians. Um,
Mm,
you know, now what I'll say about that is, any given Sunday, me and you can be one too, Leroy. That's just life.
100%.
Um, but they are some stuffed shirt Christians out there. That's just a fact. I won't take back what I said, but I will say this: the Bible is full of freaks, frauds, and failures who were set free because of the blood of Jesus. And not everybody in the church house on a Sunday morning is perfect. There was only one perfect person, and that was Jesus. And so, all I'll say, and I'll leave you with this on that subject, as a quote from Mark Lowry. And it's broken pots spill more water. Now, every time I say that quote to somebody, they look at me and like, what is he talking about? They give me that weird look. I'm like, what does that mean? Broken pots spill more water. That means if you've been through something and you got a few cracks, your testimony and your witness as a Christian can go further. Because when you're a flower pot and you got cracks and water spilling out, there may be a seed on the ground that gets that water, sprouts up. And that's what I mean by that quote. We're not all perfect. We all got problems. And we're all just trying to do our best. And we all fail. Everybody fails. Even the best. They all fail. But guess what? Praise the Lord for grace and mercy.
Amen.
Because that's the only reason that I can go through each day is grace and mercy.
I've these past few months they've been pretty rough. Um, I've had season of doubt, season of unbelief. Um, just all in all, it's been how you say, D-Rod. It's been
Rough
pretty rough,
waters.
man. I've been real depressed, man, about it these past few months. And I get that way because I feel like I've messed up. Like I've to question my own faith, but I look at stories, and that's why I love anything that you're going through. I feel like can be solved with the Bible
Well, yeah.
because it's like I told a story to somebody last week about the apostles literally ran when
Mm-hmm.
Jesus was crucified.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying, I mean, even David tried to hide his sin from God. Multiple of these people who walked with God doubted God, but yet at the end of the day were willing to die for what they had seen.
Yeah.
And that's historical proof. I don't care what anybody says. Those people were martyred for
Mm-hmm.
what they believed in. There's just no other way around it.
Yep.
And I wish as though people would, I guess, wake up and smell the coffee because people are quick to judge. I'm quick to judge. I'll be honest. I judge. I mean, I think it's honestly our human nature too.
Yeah.
And, but yet we sit here and we debate each other. Who's right? Who's wrong? Um, this. At the end of the day, you're going to have your opinion on something. I'm going to have mine. One of us
Mm-hmm.
is going to wake up and smell this coffee.
Yeah.
It depends on who. Um, and like I said earlier, I'm right, you're wrong. I've lost nothing. But if you are wrong, what more do I need to even say at that point?
Exactly. I think I've told you that before. I'm like, you know what, Thomas? If if everything, if I, if I was to go out tomorrow, I have enjoyed every single minute of being here. You know what? I have my days where I'm not. We all have our days where it's not the best, but I try not to have those days a lot because, man, every day I get to wake up and breathe air, that's just a blessing. And I've got great friends, great family. And if I go out tomorrow, I've lost nothing believing in the Lord. Because I've enjoyed it all. I've enjoyed it. I've went to the movies and seen whatever movie I wanted to see. I mean, a lot of people think when you become a Christian that you become a slave and all this. That's not true. There's a certain standard we're held to after we do. I agree with that. But a lot of people think it's, yeah, you're becoming a slave. You got all these things on your back. And I'm just going to say this uh, following Jesus is the best thing I've ever done. And everybody says that. I heard somebody at a men's conference say this, and I've never heard it said like this because it is country bunkin' quote, but it was amazing. Why does not everybody want a piece of the pie? There's plenty enough to go around.
Yeah.
Oh, if people could just grasp the feeling that I had when I got saved, and the other people's felt when they got saved, man, if you could just get a hold of that. But even the Bible, man, reading the Bible and having the Lord show you things, and just move in your life, it's amazing. Like I said, like that guy said at that men's conference, there's plenty of pie to go around, man. I just don't see why people just don't see it. But I'm praying that they do. And I pray that your friends find that piece of the pie. And I pray that they open their eyes. And I pray that they find forgiveness, because it's never too late for forgiveness as long as you're breathing. Um, Never too late. And I don't know, man. It's just, why can't everybody get on board? But we know what the Bible says. It's just the way it goes.
Way the cookie crumbles, man.
Yep. Oh, I also, to your buddies, I wanted to read one more quote. Um, and I think this one is kind of better than the other one I read. It's also by C.S. Lewis. When you are arguing against God, you are arguing against the very power that makes you able to argue at all. Now that is powerful.
Yeah, I've been looking a lot about on C.S. Lewis quotes, man. It's pretty. Some of them get pretty good.
There are 3 books that are must reads for anybody, Christian or non-Christian. He's got 3, and he's wrote more than 3 books. He's wrote tons of books and poems and all this other stuff. But there are 3 books that any Christian or non-believer, it's a must read. And one of them is Mere Christianity, which is pretty much his #1 book that everybody knows about. And it's just pretty much basic argument for Christianity. The other one is The Problem of Pain, and that's pretty much going through why do bad things happen to good people. And then the third one, which I'm reading right now, and it's really eye-opening. I've got one more chapter, I think, left on it, is the Screwtape Letters, and that's pretty much just going through how the devil works and how he discourages believers, and it's really eye-opening. But even if you're a non-believer, you need to read some C.S. Lewis, because it will open your eyes along with reading the Bible. I have a C.S. Lewis study Bible that I use. It's really good. But listen to me. If you're out there and you say, well, I don't want to read no C.S. Lewis, I don't want to pay for it, I'll buy you the books. Just contact me. I'll buy them for you.
Man.
Because people need to open their eyes to what the truth is in this world. And the truth is the Bible. The truth is Jesus Christ saves. That's the truth. Felt. Back 7's logic, truth. I love that truth part.
You do, don't you? I've heard that more times than I can probably count.
Well, anything else you want to talk about?
Well, Trump's president. That's about it.
Trump's president, and Canada just keeps on digging themselves a bigger hole. But who cares? What has Canada done in history?
Yeah. I think off topic. We kind of got on a lot about God on this one. Guess because it's that important.
It's important. We may be conservative and we may love politics, but guess what? #1 is the Lord.
I think it's really interesting that they come out Trump declares tariffs on them, and what happens? They bend the knee, and that's what I tried to tell about people about these tariffs. I said it's a tool.
It's part of the deal. That's all it is.
But at the end of the day, I can only say my piece, and people can believe it. They can believe it not. But
Well, I just saw an X tweet that says, or tweet, what do they call it now? Instead of tweet, I wonder. I don't know. It's X, but I don't know what they call it. Maybe it's let me see. That's interesting. That's why I love this podcast, because if I have a question, I can just. Oh, they call it "What's Happening" or "Post," I guess. They may call it an X. I don't know. And by the way, season 3 of Black Ops Zombies, Shattered Veil, is the name of it.
Shattered Veil?
That's what they just posted on X. Treyarch.
Is there a movie trailer?
Nope, just a logo.
Oh Lord.
So there you go. You heard it here first on the Bama Boys podcast.
Yeah, Shattered Veil.
But yeah, here's the X I was going to read. Just in, Democrats lost over 300,000 registered voters nationwide last month. And I hope they lose 1 million by the time we're done.
Yeah.
Anything else, Must? Anything else?
I think that's it. I'm
All
glad
right.
to be back.
We're back, folks. We're back. We'll try to keep to our once a month quota, like in Lethal Company. We'll try to meet our quota. But if we don't, we apologize. But we're gonna try. We'll try to get back on schedule. You want to tell them maybe in the next episode what's gonna happen, Must?
Well, I think we're going to bring somebody on. Has a different couple viewpoints, and I look forward to it. Having a good conversation with the guy, and I think it'll be very interesting. I've been talking to D-Rod a little more about it, and it's like we tell anybody who's got questions, we encourage anybody to shoot him at, I don't know, are we on X, or
I'm on X.
you're on X? D-Rod 2222 on X?
I'll give
D-Rod,
you.
my bad,
Whoa,
my
whoa, whoa,
bad.
whoa. No, wait a minute. It's D-Rod222, but here's my @. It's @the_DROD.
D-Rod at DROD.
D-Rod.
Shoot him a message.
Shoot me a message. And also, Tom Homan for president in 2028.
You think he'll get it?
I'd vote for him.
I'm picking my boy JD. But
you know what he told what he told the Pope the other day?
The what?
Oh, Tom Homan. What he told the Pope.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
He said, "You need to fix the Catholic Church first."
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love him. But yeah, next episode we're gonna have somebody on here to ask some questions for. I don't know if it'll be the whole podcast or just a segment. We'll figure that out as we get closer. But I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna read my final quote for the podcast, and then Must, if you want to find a Bible verse to read to end us off, that would be great. Let me see. Let me find my quote here. I have it written down because I had to write it down when I heard it last week. This quote is from Sam Pat Rogers. Give the devil an inch and he will take a mile. Give a man a mile and he will take 2 miles. So there is your quote for the podcast. Must you end us off on a Bible verse?
Psalms 14, chapter 14, verse 1. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt, they have done abominable works, there is none that doeth good.
Wow. That's a banger of a verse to end off on.
I've been trying to find it the whole episode, but anywho. Folks, we're back. I know it's been a while. I was really wanting us to have an episode right after the elections, but like I said, stuff came up, life happens, but I'm glad we let it kind of simmer down. We're 7 weeks into the presidency, and
Loving
I
every
think it's
minute.
looking good. I think it's looking good. We're shooting people straight like we should be, not lying, not sugarcoating, and to be honest, that's what this country needed. We did not need a puppet president, and I'm glad
Nope.
we didn't get it. Um, but anywho, love y'all. Send us some messages, comments, any concerns. D-Rod,
Follow us on Spotify, wherever you're listening, YouTube, subscribe, whatever. Follow us, subscribe, share it, and we will see you on the next episode.
see y'all.